Hello everyone and welcome to today's live. Today we are upcycling tin cans, fall style. I have a hard time with throwing out tin cans. I am always saving them out of the recycling bin and then I get a pile of a whole bunch of them. And that's what's happened right now. So I have 3 tin cans that I'm going to upcycle today with you. We'll craft together and I'm going to put a fall twist on all of them. I've got some graphics, I've got some painting techniques and tin cans. So I hope you're going to enjoy. And if you guys know the drill, if you come to my lives, I'd love to know where everybody is from. So send me a message down in the comments. Comment where you are, and it's so much fun because we'll see people from all over the world that are here crafting with me. Anybody else love saving tin cans? I also hoard. I may also hoard glass jars too. I have lots of glass jars. Maybe that's going to be my live next week. We'll do some glass jars. Today we are doing tin cans. If you're just joining, we're going to be upcycling some tin cans and putting a fall spin on them. And we already have people popping in from Ohio and Arizona and Virginia and Tennessee and North Carolina. I'm in Ontario, Canada. I'm just outside of Ottawa, about an hour outside of Ottawa, and we are having a fantastic fall. The weather here right now is unbelievable. It still feels like summer. So we're getting an extended summer season here, and I hope everybody else is having good weather wherever you are. Okay, Iowa, do both. Reba, you have the same problem as me. You're saving and you're hoarding tin cans and glass jars the same as me. Okay, I'm going to bring the camera down so we can see what I'm crafting and make it a little bit easier here. There we go. Get my mic out of the way. So I got 3 tin cans that we're going to work on today. Now, these are just soup cans, vegetable tins. I just clean them up and I save them. And my can opener cuts them so you don't have a rough edge, which is really nice. Now, some of the tin cans, you've probably seen the ones that are like the smashed tin cans. They're like a wall pocket. I'm finding it more and more difficult as time goes on to find tin cans that you can cut the bottom out of. Like all of these, you have to have a special can opener. You can get them off, but a regular can opener won't take them off, and you can't smash these as well. So these are going to be just left as is and painted. Okay, we got Florida, and Arizona, and Tennessee in here, and Massachusetts. Thanks for joining along, everyone. Let's work so I don't go all over the map. Let's just work on one at a time. I think the first one that we're going to work on, we'll work on the big one. I'm going to put a little bit of a spin on this one and show you a different way that we can upcycle some tin cans. Now, I've got 3 graphics. I've already printed them off. I printed these off on my laser printer. These are all in my Etsy store. Or if you want to grab them and craft with any of these, the link isn't. Actually, I've pinned the link in the top of the comments so you can grab it there. If you're a Patreon member, you've already got these graphics. So you've got them on your computer. You can download them and craft with them. And for the bigger one, I'm going to use, actually, I'm going to use this graphic. And I like to use a ruler to make a rough edge on the paper. We'll get these out of the way. Just makes it look nicer when we're going to decoupage it onto projects. And these are not going to be 100% even. It doesn't matter. We want these kind of primitive, rustic looking. And these papers, don't throw them away. I have a bin. I throw them all in. And then when I have enough, I make a batch of homemade paper with them. And let's do down under here. That looks good. Oh no, always on alive. I've lost the corner of it. Oh well, that's okay. Let's do this side here and see if I don't rip it. That's what happens when, maybe what I'll do, oh darn. Okay, let's do this. Let's do this. We're going to get rid of the open daily because I ripped that corner off. And then it'll look better. Shoot. Okay, let's take a little bit more off of this. Crafting that's never perfect. Ever, ever. Now I've got too short of a piece to do. Oh, goodness. There we go. See if I can get this ripped so it looks... I'm really hacking up this graphic. There we go. That's the nice thing when you're not doing a live. I would have just printed another one off and you guys would have never have seen this. But that's going to look good on that. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I have some instant coffee, some warm water, and a little sponge. I always like to age my papers, and this is a really quick, fast, easy way of doing it. Just dab it on the paper and cover it completely right out to the edge. And then you can just get your heat gun and just dry them. Marianne's being impatient. I was doing my best. I was doing my best to get this graphic the right way, and I ripped the one corner of it. So just be patient with me. This is what lives are all about. It just shows you that not everybody's perfect when they're crafting. You just do the best that you can do. And we're here for inspiration. And this is a great way, like I said, of aging paper quickly, using some instant coffee, warm water. And Stephanie, thank you for reminding everybody, press that like button. It really helps my channel and it really gets it seen out to new people that might enjoy crafting along with me. And if you don't like the color, you can always go back and add another layer. That's going to be good for that. We're just going to dry this one. I find when I'm crafting, this is my getaway time. This is my quiet time. This is my relaxing time. So I don't do anything in a rush. It's just, we're here to craft, to have, that's like doing yoga for me, or working out. Crafting is like that. So I don't like to get rushed, and I don't like to fly by and make things not the way that I want to. I like to take my time. When I'm doing a video or filming a regular video, it's different because I can edit out those pieces, but when I'm doing a live, it's a little bit harder. So there, I'm happy with that. So I think what I'm going to do next, I have some black. So I've spray painted these tin cans already with some black spray paint. And it just acts as kind of a primer. So any paint that you're going to put on top of it is going to stick really well. And I'm going to use some black acrylic. If you don't have a paint palette, mine's out in my shed. Grab a lid off of a coffee can or off of a glass jar. They make perfect palettes. And you can load your paint up in them, wash them out, and reuse them. So we're just going to put some acrylic paint on here. Because these are going to be kind of rustic primitive, they don't have to be perfect. So we're just going to kind of slop it on here. I'm going back and forth in my comments. Your live show that none of us are perfect. You're always amazing and so inspiring. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Crafting is therapy. Honestly, crafting is my therapy. If I'm having a day where I'm feeling rushed or anxious, I head out to my shed and I just start crafting or start building or start painting, and it definitely helps. We got Wisconsin in here. We don't rush our crafts either. No, can't rush perfection. Well, I don't know if I ever have anything that's completely perfect. That's the nice thing about doing primitive style, is it's never perfect. We embrace the imperfections. Okay, so I'm just putting a light coat on this. We don't need very much, just to cover it up a little bit. And then again, I'm going to get my heat gun out. We're going to dry that. Why Rush Therapy? That's a good company name. There you go. We should trademark that. Thanks, Reva. I appreciate that. I'm glad you're enjoying all of my content. And this dries. Now, the only thing with when you're using your heat gun and you're trying to dry paint on a tin can, it gets warm. So be careful because it does get quite hot if you're hanging on to it. But it dries really quickly. Okay, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to get my Mod Podge mat. I'm down for a few days doing some furniture, had my pacemaker battery replaced. Oh my goodness. I hope you're doing better, Stephanie. I'm sending healing vibes to you to get feeling better. And I'm going to use some Mod Podge mat. We're going to give this a grungy, primitive look with some Mod Podge. And it doesn't have to be even. It can be very rustic looking and lumpy and bumpy here. We don't need to worry about it being on here really nice and smooth. Okay, now while this is still wet, I've got it completely covered. This is how I like to make my tin cans look rusty. And that is with cinnamon. You've probably seen me use this technique before, or you've seen me use, I'm going to get another lid here so I can put this in and not have a mess. You've seen me use dirt, and you've probably seen me use cinnamon too. But while it's still wet, sprinkle that cinnamon into that wet Mod Podge, and you're going to give your tin can a instant rusty look. I love the look of this. It looks really nice. And for the fall season, it's always nice to have that. I find that rustic colors and the oranges and the greens always look really nice. Okay, so we have instantly made our tin can look old and rusty with a little bit of cinnamon and Mod Podge and some black paint underneath. So we're going to now, anywhere that I've missed, I'm just going to keep adding a little bit more cinnamon. I have this cinnamon I actually keep in my craft room. I don't take it down to my kitchen afterwards and then bake an apple pie with it. And I'd be lying to you if I told you that I actually even baked an apple pie. I'm not a baker, but I do keep this cinnamon just in my craft room. And I use it to craft with all the time. Okay, so then we're going to, let's get the heat gun again. I just use yogurt tops, cottage cheese lids. Yeah, I know, any sort of lid, save them because they make perfect paint palettes, every size. And then you can just throw them and rinse them off and use them again. I think you've cornered the market for Mod Podge and cinnamon. I know, I use it a lot. And the cinnamon, yes, and the cinnamon does smell like fall too. It's really nice if you're using this and put out in your decor and it has that nice cinnamon smell. Dries really quickly, the Mod Podge too. Okay. And then we can just kind of knock off the extra. Just brush it so it exposes some of that black. Now I kind of hit that a bit too much, but that's okay. We want to expose some of that black underneath. But doesn't that look like an authentic rusty tin can? So cool. I'm going to add a little bit more there that I knocked off. Okay, let's clean this up a little bit. I can throw this all back in the lid. And I'll just throw what I didn't use back in my bag because, like I said, it's for my craft room. But I'll do that later. Put it aside. Okay, so now what we want to do, we want to seal all of this cinnamon in, because if we don't, it's just going to kind of flake off. So we're just going to go back in with the Mod Podge again and seal it all up. So when we're done this video, you'll be wanting to run out to your recycling bin and grab some tin cans and try some of these techniques. And if you're just joining, we're upcycling some tin cans, doing fall theme. And let me know down in the comments if you're watching where you're from. I always like seeing where everybody is from all corners of the world. It's so much fun. And I appreciate everybody that's here too, supporting my channel. My channel's been growing so fast and it's been just amazing. Okay, so we've got that sealed in. So let's again, bear with me while we dry this. Do you think it would be okay to add a little pumpkin spice to the cinnamon? Absolutely. You could add some pumpkin spice. You can use some sand. You can use some dirt. You can use nutmeg. Don't go and buy anything. Just whatever you have in your pantry or outside. Just use it and experiment. Just try different shades. You could do a little bit of cinnamon and then layer on another color and get a real neat faux rust effect. But this is drying really quickly. Okay, so while we're waiting for that to finish drying, isn't that so neat? So we've taken this and turned it into that very quickly. So what I like to do is I like to put a layer of Mod Podge on top of my graphic before I decoupage it. It firms it up, and I also find that it prevents bubbles and wrinkles, which can happen when you're decoupaging. So I'm just going to put a really light coat on top of that graphic. And like I said before, this graphic is available in my Etsy store. If you haven't received it, if you're not a Patreon member or a Graphic Club member, and you haven't picked up this graphic, it's in my Etsy store and you can grab it. And of course, you're also going to be getting this, but if you're at the beginning of the video and you saw that I messed up and I ripped this corner, that's why we ended up with this. You know I love using old cans, but I want to create a lid to make them into canisters. Have you ever tried to make a lid that would seal them, to seal up? I don't know if I have. I'd have to think about that. I don't know what you could use as a lid. I'm sure there's something that we could put together. We got Florida in here and England. Mine never make it to the recycling bin. They go into my craft supplies. Yes. Okay. So there. That's pretty good. So now we're going to put some Mod Podge on the back. In my opinion, I don't think you can ever have too much Mod Podge. I use Mod Podge like it's going out of style. Okay, let's find where we want to put this. I think we're going to put it right here. This is pretty good from an old can of corn that's being turned into some beautiful fall decor. I like to press it right down really well so you can see there's no bubbles and no wrinkles. And I find when you put that Mod Podge on top before you decoupage it that it really prevents that from happening. That's stuck on there really well. It would have been even more beautiful if we had the open daily on the bottom, but hey, that's all part of the crafting on the whim. Okay, now I think what I'm going to do with this now is I went into my yard. See if I can grab them. And I just grabbed a whole bunch of leaves and flowers that were all fall colors. And you could put a little bit of water in the bottom of your tin can and then just fill it up with, get my scissors here. Fill it up with fall flowers, and these are starting to wilt because I did this about a half an hour ago. I need to get some water in them. But I wanted to show you guys how you don't need to spend any money. You can just get some stuff out of your garden and fill it up. If you put a little bit of water in there And how nice would this be if you're heading over to a friend's house for a cup of coffee or a cup of tea? You could put one of these little tins together. Would cost you hardly anything, and it's a nice little gift to give them. Let's put, got some lovely colors in these. Put this one in the front. I found some of these blue berries that look really nice too. We could add some of those in the front. Okay, and I even cut some twigs. You could put some longer twigs in the back. That would look nice. Once I have this all put together, I'll turn it so you can see it better. But I think this is super cute. Okay, let's get this cleaned up and I'll show you what we got here. Okay. How cute is that? A tin can out of the recycling bin. I actually think it was corn. Added some flowers and leaves that I just had in my garden and a graphic on the front. And how cute. That's one easy way to upcycle a tin can. What do you think? I've seen people make lids out of cardboard using circles in different sizes and color them. And yeah, you could. You could actually make a lid for these. Yeah, make a template of a circle, and you wouldn't probably be able to seal it very well, but it would make it look like it was a top. Okay, let's go on to another one. This one, I'm going to do a little bit different. We're going to do an upside down one. And again, I'm going to go back in with some of my, am I going to use, let's use a orange for this one. I'm going to have to get another paintbrush. We're going to put a splash of orange on this one. And just paint, because I've painted that tin, like I said before, with the primer, then the acrylic paint sticks on it really well. Let's spread that orange paint. And you know what, when I'm crafting, like before I did this live, I had no idea what I was actually going to do. I just kind of had my tin cans and I had an idea, a little bit of an idea what I wanted to do, but not really. So when I'm doing these, I'm just kind of, as I'm going, oh, I like this, or oh, I like this, and I'll change my mind and go with the flow. So not a lot planned here. I just do what I see looks nice and roll with it. And I want this rustic again, so I'm not going to completely cover it. I just want a little bit of orange. Okay, that looks pretty good and rustic. Let's get our heat gun. And it doesn't take very long to dry that acrylic paint. It dries really fast. Have any of you thought about starting Christmas crafts yet? I haven't. I'm still kind of focusing. I love fall and Halloween, so I kind of use that season as long as I can. But I have seen some crafters on YouTube that have already started into some Christmas, and I just can't do it yet. I'm not there yet, but I wonder if any of you guys have started thinking about it. I haven't been adding very many Christmas graphics into my Etsy store yet either. And I don't know, is it too early? Should I have some made, but I haven't had them. I haven't had Kirsten list them yet. So let me know if you guys are ready for some Christmas graphics and you're ready to start doing some of that theme. I just wanted to put a little bit more orange on here. There, that looks good. With a clean can opener, use the lid that came off and you could fashion a small loop handle. Well, now that's clever, Nancy. If you just use the lid that you took off, and maybe you could put some tape around the outside of it, or cut a piece of cardboard the same size as the lid and then tape it all together, put a little knob on the top, and that would work to put a lid on a tin can. That would be clever. That would work. Okay. I have, but only because I seek and... I love Halloween and fall. Yes, my favorite season to decorate with. Make the best graphics. I'm so glad that you like my graphics. I love making them. Okay, how do we want to make this look rustic? Let's try something different. I'm going to take some of my coffee. Let's see what this does. Might not do anything, but we're going to see if it kind of makes it look kind of grungy. No, it's not really doing a whole lot. It was worth a try. I wanted to see what it did. No, I don't think it's going to do much, but what we're going to do then, let's go back to the Mod Podge again. Put some Mod Podge on with that coffee stain. We'll go back to the old trusty cinnamon to make it look rusty. That looks pretty good. I'll put a little bit on the top too. Okay, let's get that cinnamon back here. I've got it in the lid. We'll just sprinkle it on here and there while it's still wet. Okay, that worked well. And you can just knock off that extra cinnamon. Put some on the top here. Okay. Clean this up. Yes, I love this color orange also. It is just dollar store pure pumpkin deco art, and it's my go-to for the fall season. I need to plug in my heat gun. There we go. Or my glue gun while we get ready for the next step. But let's try this. It dries really quickly. And do you also decorate for Halloween, or do you decorate for fall, or do you do a mixture? I find I do more fall theme than I do Halloween. Okay, let's use this. Are we gonna rip it? Let's see, let's hope that if I'm gonna do this one, that I'm not gonna wreck it like I did my last graphic. Okay, we'll go very slow. Go along here, very slow. Okay, and this is just regular computer paper, and I've printed on my laser printer. You can also use an inkjet printer if you have. And when you're sealing it with Mod Podge, the ink won't run, so it'll work fine for you. But if you're doing lots of crafting, I've said this before, if you do lots of crafting, it's worth the investment to get a laser printer, especially if you're doing the graphic transfer. It just works so much better. Now, I think I'm going to go in with some pencil crayons, and I'm just going to color in a little bit of this graphic just to give it a pop of color before I coffee stain it. I think that will look nice. Just use my regular, just regular pencil crayons. And it won't run or anything when we introduce the Mod Podge. It'll stay on it really well. And I'm gonna do, I've got some pumpkins in the box of this truck. Put a splash of orange in there. And that's pretty small writing. I don't know if I can get in here with that. Just do a little bit of shading maybe. And if you're just joining, we're just upcycling some tin cans, fall theme, making affordable home decor that's not going to cost. You probably already have all of this stuff in your craft room or around your house that you don't have to go out and spend any money. And the other thing is you don't have to go to the dollar store and buy brand new. You can make some really cute decor just with stuff that you already have. Let's make a little red heart in the middle of the truck. There, that just kind of perks it up a little bit. And we're going to now get the coffee stain. Let's coffee stain this. Make it look a little bit vintage and primitive. And just adding that little pop of color, it makes it look really nice. Okay, we'll just dry it. Yeah, if you wanted to put a lid on the tin can, I think that's a really great idea. Use the lid that you took off, put a little bit of, cut out a piece of cardboard the same size, and then tape it so you don't have that rough edge of the lid. And I think that would work well. You could probably put something together. And we've got the UK Wales, and we got Georgia in here. Lots of crafting friends today. This has got cinnamon and coffee. It smells so good in here right now. Okay. That's good. That looks really good. Okay, so what we're going to do with this is I'm going to put this at the top. So we're going to put some Mod Podge on this. And seal it up. And again, like I said before, I like to put that Mod Podge on the top before I decoupage it, because I do find that it helps it not bubble and wrinkle when you put it on your project. And we've got Debbie from California in here and Lynn from Georgia. Thanks for joining along, everyone. I appreciate your support. And any of these graphics that I'm using, you can find them in my Etsy store. If you're a Patreon graphic club member, you've already received these graphics, and maybe you've already crafted with them already. How cute is that? Okay, let's put some Mod Podge on the back. Glue this on. And that's a nice thing when we're doing primitive and rustic decor. I can have a huge mess on my craft table, and it doesn't matter because it's going to look grubby and it's going to look dirty. And I don't have to worry about having a pristine crafting area. There we go. I like that. Press it right into the... Oh, I don't think we sealed this up. No, we didn't. Look at, I'm getting cinnamon all over me. Okay, so we need to seal this up yet. So we're going to put Mod Podge over this whole tin can to seal in that cinnamon. If we don't put Mod Podge on top of it, it's just going to kind of flake away. So we're going to seal it all up. And these make really nice gifts too. Like I said, if you're heading to somebody's house for Thanksgiving, we have Thanksgiving early here in Canada. It's next weekend. So if you're heading to somebody's house for Canadian Thanksgiving, these are nice to put together with a little gift. You could put some flowers in it or a little mum. And it's not costing you a whole bunch of money, and they would really appreciate having something like this that was homemade by yourself. We're going to put some on the top too. Okay. And let's dry this. We've got Sharon here from the UK, and we've got San Francisco, and we've got we got Jane from the UK. So many people from over in the UK watching today, which I think is so fun. And how is everyone's weather? Like I said earlier, we are having a fantastic fall so far. It feels like summer still, which is nice because then it extends my season to be able to work out in my shed. It hasn't been under 20 in a couple weeks, and we've hardly gotten any rain, so it's been very nice. Okay, that is drying. So while that's drying, I want to show you what I'm going to do with the top of this. So when I was at the thrift store the other week, I found a whole bunch of battery operated little tea lights, and they already had the battery in them. They're already working. You don't have to worry about a flame. And isn't this cute, little pumpkin? So we're going to use those. So what I'm going to do, because this is like this, we're going to use a little bit of moss. And I'm going to get my glue gun. If you guys have not used the SureBonder cordless glue gun, fantastic. Works so well. Okay, let's get some of this moss. We're going to put some hot glue on the top. And then I'm going to glue some of this moss around the edge. Need just a little bit more. A little bit more. Press it down so it's going to stay. Clean up my mess. And then I'm going to, I think I'll use the yellow one for this. I can just plunk this in. We don't want to glue it because then you won't be able to get into the battery, but you can just set it on the top. Turn the battery on. And how cute is that? With a little light, make a little candle out of a tin can, and you've turned it into like a little candle votive. How cute's that? Okay, another one down. I have one more. So thanks for hanging out with me and crafting. This is a lot of fun. I'm gonna put my hot glue gun back on my charger. It's raining here. We haven't had rain in quite a while, actually. It's been really, really nice. Okay, let's go back to our paint palette. And let's do some black. So now this one, I spray painted with some black spray paint, and then I drilled a hole in the top to hold a wire. So I did that out in my shed before the live. So we already have 2 holes drilled in the top. I think we're gonna just mix, we might as well use up all of our paint that we have here. Let's see what we can get going. We're gonna put some black on. Use it all up. And if you're painting your tin cans with some primer beforehand, you don't have to worry about the paint not sticking, because it will stick to the spray paint that has the primer. So you can use acrylic paint, latex paint, whatever you have on hand, chalk paint, as long as you've got that primer underneath. Okay, let's dry this coat. Get this one dry. I had a video go up yesterday where I upcycled a vintage jewelry box. Did you guys happen to catch that video? If you haven't, it's worth a watch, because we all know, you know, those vintage jewelry boxes, the wooden ones from the 70s and the early 80s. I found one and I upcycled it, and it turned out so adorable. So if you haven't seen that one, head back to my channel after this and you can check it out. Okay, I'm just going to get messy here. I've got my sponge and my coffee. We're just going to sponge some of that orange on there, only because I've already got it here, so we're not going to waste it. I'm going to just sponge it on. Doesn't have to be perfect because I want that black to peek through. And like I said, when I do these projects, I'm just going by the seat of my pants. I really don't even know what I'm doing. I'm just kind of whatever I feel and looks good. That's what I do. There, I think that's what I like for that. What kind of primer? Just a spray paint that has a paint and primer in it is fine. It works great. Any type of spray paint. If you paint your tin cans with that, then you can paint any type of paint on top of it. And it's not going to go anywhere. If you tried to paint, I find if you try to paint the tin can with just acrylic paint without priming it first, it does have a tendency to kind of peel off and not stick very well. So I always put a primer on first, just to ensure that. Okay, that's pretty good. And do I have any cinnamon left over? Yeah, I have a little bit. So let's use it up. Waste not, want not. We're not going to waste anything. So we're going to put the Mod Podge on again. And if you don't have Mod Podge, you don't have to use, you can use Elmer's school glue. It will work fine too, to get this to stick to a tin can if you don't want to use your Mod Podge, if you have lots of glue in your stash. And let's just sprinkle. I don't want a whole bunch on. I just kind of want it here and there. Let's put a little bit on the top. Okay, let's get this cleaned up. Okay, and we'll dry it quickly. How do you find inspiration for your projects? You know what, I actually have no idea. I've just always kind of been crafty. I've always been able to kind of see the potential in, I like to say, crap. And a lot of times, like I said at the beginning of the video, I don't even know what I'm going to do. I just kind of get inspiration as I go and just fly with it. Not every time is it perfect, but I don't know. I just think it's something that I just was born to be crafty and make a mess. I'm always a mess. Okay, so I've got some wire. This is just some old rusty wire that, how much do we need here? Need a bit longer. I just had this in my stash, so I'm gonna double it over because it's quite thin. I got a pair of side cutters here somewhere, do I? I thought I did. No, we're gonna use our scissors. It's not very thick anyways. It should cut. There we go. And I'm gonna twist it a bit. We're gonna add a handle. Oops. Oh, that was really, this is really old wire. Want to make sure that we don't have any pieces that are sticking out that are gonna catch and get caught on either. I'm gonna just wrap it around. Do you think it would be okay to mix a little pumpkin spice in with the cinnamon? Yes, you certainly can. Nutmeg, cinnamon spice, pumpkin pie spice, whatever you have. Don't go and buy anything new. Just use what you already have and experiment with it, and it'll work for you. And it smells really yummy. Okay, so then we can just, because I've already drilled the holes in this, just wrap the wire around in here. And this is really rustic, everyone. You can, of course, take these techniques and put your own spin on it. It doesn't have to be rustic, but I'm just showing you some different techniques that you can try. And I need a pair of pliers. Oh, I found my side cutters. They were hanging on my wall. I knew I had them here close by. Stick that through. And we've added like a really cute little, how's that? Little cute little handle on that tin can. Really easy. I love your videos. You're always very creative and original. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, so we have one more graphic left. And this, I love this. It's like an old vintage pumpkin seed label, like what you would find on a seed label package. Probably this is one of my favorite graphics of the fall season. I love this one. And again, you can grab that out of my Etsy store if you want to craft with it. And I like putting this one on tags. Also, it's really cute. So many possibilities. Rip along the edges here. Hey, we're doing good on not ripping these all apart like the first one. There we go. Okay. Now, I think let's do the orange on the pumpkin. We're going to take some orange pencil crayon and color this one in. I like when the graphics have a little pop of color, and then you can put the coffee stain on top of it, and it just makes it look really rustic. And you can use markers or crayons or watercolor, whatever you've got, whatever's handy if you wanted to color in some of your graphics. And there, that looks nice. I like that. Okay. Let's go in. Actually, I've got some orange paint on my sponge. Let's see what this is going to do. We're going to add a little bit of orange in with some coffee stain. That's nice. I like that. Just gives it a little different tint than just having the coffee stain with a little bit of that acrylic paint in that. What do you think? I like that. Okay, let's dry that. And we've got Maine here watching. Tin can shelf sitters are cute with arms and legs and with a string. Yes, they are. There's so many things that you can do with tin cans. I've made wind chimes. I have made fridge magnets. I have made the crushed ones that, here, we're getting really mucky here. Might as well. The smashed tin cans. So much inspiration that you can do with tin cans. Why would anybody ever want to throw out a tin can? Okay, is this almost dry? It's getting there. Now we're going to seal this up. I'm getting a real muck of cinnamon here, but that's okay. Okay, let's seal this up now. Another thing that you can do, I'll just show you quick, is if you have any ink, I've got some pigment ink. You can just go around the edge and give it that little extra aged look also. And again, because I'm going for that primitive look, it doesn't matter if it's kind of dirty and rustic looking, because that's what we want. There, it just kind of adds another level. And let's go in with that Mod Podge on the top to seal it all up. Okay, just a light coat. Helps it to not bubble and wrinkle when we go to decoupage it. And if you're just joining now, after this is done, you can go back and you can watch the live and catch the beginning of the video too, so you can see my first 2 projects that I've done. And I hope you're enjoying so far. I love doing these where we can kind of craft together and give each other inspiration as we go along. And answer any questions too that you might have that I can hopefully guide you along with. Okay. I haven't put any Mod, did I put, yeah, I did put Mod Podge on that to seal that. Oh, I like this. I like that real rustic. Let's put it on this side. We're going to put some Mod Podge on the back. can also, did you know that you can make your own homemade Mod Podge to decoupage with? You don't have to, if you're just decoupaging, you don't have to use store-bought Mod Podge. You can make your own. I have a full tutorial on how to make homemade Mod Podge. The only thing is the homemade Mod Podge will not work for image transfer, but it'll definitely work for decoupaging. So if you want to check that out, you can find that on my channel too. How to make homemade Mod Podge. Whoops. Oh dear. There we go. We're okay. Kind of ripped a little bit, but that's going to go on there okay. And I think I'm going to put a little bit more Mod Podge over the whole thing, just because that did rip there a little bit. We want to seal it up really well. Seal in all that cinnamon. There we go, around the edges here. Yeah, let me know. This is my last one that I'm doing, this one here. So let me know which one's your favorite. When I get this one finished, I'll show you all three together and you can pick and you can let me know which one's your favorite. Okay, let's dry. I don't know, I love, whoops, I love this graphic too. This one, it took me quite a while to design this one. I kind of spent a lot of time, and it probably took me a full day of just fooling around with it until I got it completely how I liked it. And I was really happy with the outcome of it. We'll just dry this Mod Podge. And I also like adding that little pop of color too. Always looks nice. Get this dry. The heat gun always speeds up everything really nice. Okay, now I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to add, I have some ribbon. I think I'm going to add a little ribbon to the side of it. So let's see how much we need. I think we're going to use that much. This piece of ribbon actually came out of, I think my mom had bought a blanket and it was tied in this ribbon. And I'm like, oh, don't throw that out. I can use it on one of my projects. So that's where that came from. We're going to, let's cut this maybe with a nice little tail. That looks nice. Do a tail on this end. Fray it a little bit. Fray it out. Fray this a bit too so it looks rustic and it blends in with the rest of the tin can. And what about this? Okay. What about this? Bear with me. It was too stark. It needed to be darkened down a little bit. That's better. Let's dry it a little bit. And if you're just joining, you can go back after and see the first couple projects, and then you can choose from the 3 that I've done today and let me know which one you like the best. This is what I mean by I just go by the seat of my pants. I didn't like that. It was too, like, see this color? It was too white and just didn't match that rustic look. I threw it in that coffee stain. Perfect. I love it. Okay. And then you can just, I'm just going to tie this on here. My hands are a mess too. If I was doing a video, I would have just ran downstairs in between and washed my hands up, but it's a little bit difficult when I'm joining here on the live. No, this is a little bit too long here, so we're going to have to cut this one a bit more. I love. Okay, let's go back to this. Like I said before, these were all from my garden that I just picked. Let's take some of the bottom leaves off and throw them in there. You don't have to go and buy anything fancy. Just use what you already have. I love being able to do that. And like I said earlier, if you've got a Thanksgiving or a Halloween celebration that you're going to and you have some tin cans, how fun would this be to put some of these together and give them as little housewarming gifts, or just a thank you gift, and you can put them together and it hardly costs you anything. You can just add these. I would put a little bit of water in your tin can maybe, or a little paper towel soaked in water if you're giving these to somebody so they wouldn't wilt too fast. But how cute is that? Well, I've got some twigs here I can put in the back too. Might as well add a couple of those in. Also, I actually looked for some flowers that had some color, but I don't have any that are left. They're all finished, but that looks pretty good. Okay, so let's show you the 3 that I created today, and then you can let me know which one is your favorite. We've got, how can I do this so you can see? 1 second here, I'm gonna set this up, and then I'll move the camera around. Okay, so we have, okay, let's take this off here, and I'm gonna show you the 3 that I have. So here's the 3. We've got the fresh pumpkin, the heirloom pumpkin that we added the handle on top, and then the farm fresh pumpkin that we added the votive, and I have the yellow one, and then I also have the pumpkin one. Which one do you like better? I think I kind of like the pumpkin one. Yeah, I think I like it better than the yellow one. So there's what we created today. If you're just joining, you can go back and you can see the first 2 and create some of these yourself. And let me know in the comments which one's your favorite. As I'm looking at them, I kind of like that heirloom pumpkin one. I think that's my favorite. So we're going to sign off. I got a big mess here. We're going to clean up all this cinnamon. I hope you enjoyed today's live, and save those tin cans and get creating. Take care, guys. We'll see you in the next video.